All right, welcome to the Week 11 edition of the Florida Football Insiders podcast, presented by Beef O'Brady's. Beef O'Brady's here on the corner of Bush Boulevard and Himes Avenue here in the Tampa area, over in Carrollwood and Bush, Forest Hills area. Again, Himes Avenue and Bush Boulevard is the intersection where Beef's is located. Give you a programming note. We are going to be out at Beef's on Saturday, the November the 12th. This coming up Saturday, around 2 o'clock, 2 to 3:30 or so. We're going to be talking some, we're going to do our game day live broadcast. We're going to be doing a live streaming show from Beef O'Brady. So if you're in the area, I'd love to hear from you. Come on out. We're also, like I said, we're going to be streaming it live on my Facebook page, as well as a couple other platforms. So go to my Facebook page, Jason Powers, and we'll be live streaming it. Love to hear from you. Come out and visit, watch your favorite team play on Saturday. Again, Beef O'Brady's is a great place to watch. Again, whatever sports you like, whether it's football, basketball, hockey. You got the World Cup coming up here in a couple weeks. Great place to go watch all that stuff over there on Bush and Himes. So we will be out there for game day live on Saturday. We'll have a couple of guests for you guys as well as part of the live stream. So check it out Saturday, 2 o'clock to about 3:30 Eastern time. A couple things. Hope everybody is safe from the storm. I know the storm is heading towards the East Coast, Hurricane Nicole. So hopefully everybody's safe and gets through the storm okay. And again, hopefully we'll provide a little bit of relief and levity for you here as we head into the weekend. I know some people will be impacted by the rain and the weather coming to the East Coast of Florida and throughout all over Florida with the rain that's coming through. So also Friday is Veterans Day. So remember, hopefully if you know a veteran in your family or in your inner circle, definitely give a shout out to all those active and retired military personnel, and obviously all the people that have made the ultimate sacrifice for all of us to enjoy the freedoms that we do here in the United States. So don't forget Friday is Veterans Day. So make sure you thank somebody over the weekend. Most of us know somebody in our family that probably has some military, if not very close to us, that do. So got a good episode for you this week. We're going to talk to Coach Jim Leavitt as well as Matt Murschel from the Orlando Sentinel. We're going to talk to Matt about some Florida State and Central Florida news. Central Florida's got a huge game this week. Florida State coming off the big win against the Hurricanes. We're going to talk to Coach Leavitt about the games last week, several upsets: Alabama LSU, Notre Dame Clemson, Georgia Tennessee, college football playoff, as well as some stuff in the state of Florida that's going on with some matchups. But before we get to Coach Leavitt and Matt, just want to highlight USF did relieve Jeff Scott of his coaching duties on Sunday. It was 2.5 years or so, a little over 2.5 years. Coach Scott really struggled to get it going. I know when he joined USF, it was right before COVID started, so he was kind of up against it early on there. Worked through it. And just has not been able to win enough games against non-FCS opponents. And again, we've talked to Coach Leavitt over the course of the season, and when it comes to coaching moves and stuff like that, these administrators, athletic departments, and universities, unfortunately, you get most of the time you're going to get judged on wins and losses. And this was just a situation where they kept getting beat. It's not that they were losing games, it's they were just getting really manhandled in some games against some teams that they should have been more competitive against. The final straw was last weekend at Temple, gave up 55 or 56 points to a Temple team that's not very good. So they've really, Coach Scott and his staff have really struggled on defense since he's been there. Really had a tough time creating any momentum on defense as far as stops, things like that, whether it's a scheme issue, whether it's a personnel issue, probably a little bit of both. But again, Coach Jeff Scott let go by USF on Sunday. Daniel DePrado, the special teams coordinator, has been named the interim coach. Ernie Sims has been named the new defensive coordinator. The defensive coordinator, John Shoup, was also let go as part of the move. So it'll be interesting to see where USF goes from here. This is a big hire for athletic director Michael Kelly. Most athletic directors don't get to make more than one or two coaching hires in their tenure before their as not, no longer the athletic director. A couple interesting things about the USF program in general. To me, it's an opportunity here. They've got a brand new indoor facility that's all but finished there on campus, right there by the on campus. So a nice addition there. They've shown the propensity to spend some money on the coaching staff. Coach Scott was making a pretty good salary. So, but facility wise, they're making upgrades. The area they have to do is they've got to recruit better. They've got to recruit more smarter. I don't know, I know they went pretty heavy in the transfer portal this last offseason, got their quarterback, got some other guys. Whether those guys have worked out or not, it's hard to tell. But you gotta recruit this area, this part of the state of Florida. And the other part you have, if you're South Florida, not a whole lot of success going on all around the state of Florida, other than Florida State and maybe some Central Florida. All the other teams in the state of Florida are kind of struggling. FIU, FAU, Miami's struggling. Florida's kind of just getting going again with Billy Napier. So there's an opportunity here. If you make the right hire, get a guy in here that can really recruit the state of Florida to keep some of these guys that might go to some of those other schools, can keep them in the Bay Area. Some names you've heard just bandied about. Some of the names you've heard: Tom Herman's name. You've heard some speculation about potentially John Gruden. That's going to be a tricky one with Coach Gruden, only because of all the things not on the football field, but away from the football field. All the stuff, all the trouble, all the issues that have come up when he got relieved with the Raiders. Again, would that be a home run hire if he was able to take the job and wanted the job and things were cleared up on his end as far as some of the off the field stuff? Absolutely. But I don't know if, again, that's probably going to be a decision the Board of Regents and the university president are going to make, more so than athletic director Kelly over at USF. Tom Herman's an interesting name, the former Texas coach, former Houston coach, got a lot of pedigree, got a name. He's won some games. He's done well. Obviously USF went down that road with the Texas coach before with Charlie Strong. But again, Tom Herman's a name. Another name, you've heard some other guys or some assistant coaches, things like that from other programs. I think if you're Michael Kelly, you got to hire somebody with some head coaching experience and successful head coaching experience. You can't take another chance on an assistant coach or a coordinator who's not done it, and then you struggle for the next 3 or 4. You need to find somebody that can turn this thing around in 1 or 2 years, whether it's recruiting, transfer portal, whatever. You got to have some success here in the next couple of years if you're USF. You can't have another 3 or 4 year rebuilding project if you're the USF Bulls, because again, people are people keep going this way as far as funding it, as far as the competition level. USF was left out of the Big 12. UCF's going to the Big 12. That's a blow to USF. USF's in the AAC. They got to become a factor in the AAC here sooner rather than later. The one name that you hear people bandying about is Coach Jim Leavitt. Obviously we talk to Coach Leavitt every single week. I've not had any conversations with Coach Leavitt about the position, the opportunity, whether he'd be interested. I know there was a history with Coach Leavitt getting let go 10, 12 years ago. I know there was the story that, why he got let go. I don't know. Who knows what the truth is? I don't know what all the situation is. Obviously, Coach Leavitt and USF had a settlement after the fact. After he was let go, a financial settlement, and Coach sued the university. So I don't know how that would play into any potential consideration for Coach Leavitt. I know Coach Leavitt loves the Tampa Bay area. Just talking to him, I can just tell how much he loves being here. He grew up here. He's obviously had success in the coaching world, both as a head coach and coordinator. So I don't know what Coach Leavitt, any interest, would he have any interest in it? If he was even approached, I don't know what we don't know what the university's position is with Coach Leavitt, if he would even be considered for that. So again, you're going to hear Coach and I talk here. We've talked every week. He's been open and honest about a lot of things. But again, this is not a topic that it's not appropriate for me to ask him all this stuff at this point of the game. If he ever becomes a candidate, you will know it through the media. You'll hear it through Coach Michael Kelly. If he were to get interviewed or considered for an interview, all that will happen in due time. I know Coach Athletic Director Kelly did make it in his press conference a point to say he wanted to have somebody hired before right around the 1st of December, because I believe that's when the recruiting period starts again, when leading into signing day. I think he wants to have somebody in place for that period of time to really get after it on a recruiting base. You don't want to miss out on another recruiting year by not having a coach in place. So I think you're going to see a coach in place probably by Thanksgiving week, probably at the latest, because that's when the regular season will end and all that stuff. So good luck to Coach DePrada in the last 3 or 4 weeks there at USF. You never know. He could be a candidate as well if he does very good work. I've had the privilege to be able to work some of their practices over the years with Coach Scott and his staff. Very professional staff, very buttoned down. I know Coach DePrada a little bit. He'll do a good job these 3 or 4 weeks that he's there, and maybe he'll be considered a candidate for the job as well. So just wanted to give you an update on the USF situation. And again, I don't know. I don't have any inside information relative to that. So enjoy our chat with Coach Levitt and Matt Murschel, Florida Football Insiders podcast. And again, it's not the best week of college football, but again, Coach and I and Matt Murschel and I get into some good conversations, and you'll enjoy it. So stick around. We'll be right back in just a minute. Florida Football Insiders, Coach Jim Levitt, right on deck.